In the fast-paced world of NASCAR, more often than not, in the heat of the moment, drivers let their emotions get the better of them. In most cases, this lands them in trouble at NASCAR, leading to suspensions being handed down afterwards. There have been several instances where big-name drivers in NASCAR have been suspended for one or multiple races because of an action on the racetrack. Speaking of a big-name driver being suspended, let's just start off with Chase Elliott being suspended during the 2023 season after intentionally wrecking Denny Hamlin at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Oh, trouble front straightaway. Hard in the wall goes Hamlin. Chase Elliott.
Hard impact for Denny Hamlin.
That was a savage crash right at the start-finish line.
The inside of Chase gets loose. You see him lift out of the gas. The flames crowded Chase, got into him. They saw some retaliation there.
Or did Keselowski get into the left rear corner of Elliott there?
I got right rear hooked in the middle straight away.
Did you think there was any kind of retaliation there, or what was the deal? What led to that?
Yeah, it's a tantrum, and he shouldn't be racing next week. Right rear hooks are absolutely unacceptable. I don't care. It's the same thing Bubba Wallace did with Kyle Larson. The exact same. He shouldn't be racing. It's a tantrum.
After investigating the crash, which Denny Hamlin describes as an intentional crash in his interview, NASCAR dropped the hammer on the most popular driver, Chase Elliott, and suspended him for one race. With already missing 6 races previously in the year because of an injury, this hindered his chances at making the playoffs. Elliott ultimately did not make the playoffs, and this could all be led back to this moment on the racetrack. During the 2015 chase for the Cup, Matt Kenseth was wrecked at Kansas by Joey Logano for the win with just a handful of laps to go. Kenseth was extremely upset in his post-race interview, and Logano had no remorse for him. A couple races later, Joey Logano had the dominant car at Martinsville. Matt Kenseth was already taken out in a previous crash by Joey Logano's teammate. This infuriated Kenseth so much, he got back out on the racetrack, took his anger out, and got some payback on Joey Logano. During the 2022 season, Bubba Wallace intentionally crashed Kyle Larson at Las Vegas and was suspended.
Big battle off of turn 4 here.
And into the wall goes Bubba Wallace. And he comes back across the track, tags the 5. They're both in the wall, and the caution comes out.
Tips the 20 car of Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell hard into the outside wall. Bubba just feels like that the 5 didn't give him much room as he would have liked.
Then they go down the front straightaway, and it just looks like to me Bubba hangs a left to retaliate. And I got a problem with that. You're going as fast as they're going, and you hang a guy in the right rear quarter pound. That is exceptionally dangerous. That's racing right there. Larson's fault for sure, but that right there is not acceptable.
In the opening race in the round of 8, Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson were racing fairly hard coming off turn number 4. When Larson pushed up the track and pushed Bubba Wallace's car into the wall, Bubba Wallace instantly retaliated, crashing Larson hard into the wall, also collecting Christopher Bell. Afterwards, Bubba approached Kyle Larson, instantly started shoving and yelling at him before NASCAR officials stepped in. NASCAR ultimately suspended Wallace for one race for his actions on the racetrack.
Brad Coleman involved, Ron Hornaday involved, and up front, Robbie Gordon by Ambrose, who goes back on him. Caution flags waving. We're being told Robbie Gordon still in line in second place on the racetrack. We're being told that he is going to be back around 12th place after they've reviewed the scoring and put him in and determined that that's where he should be. There it is. Couldn't see that coming, could you? All right, so the lead is changing hands here now. Kevin Harvick has just gone out in front. A confusing situation to this race. Robbie Gordon may now be first in line on the racetrack, but the lead belongs to Kevin Harvick.
Vince, I'm here with Robbie Gordon. Got out of his race car, hopped on the roof, saluted the fans. Very rough racing there at the end. Robbie, what happened?
Well, if you want to know my opinion, I won the race. So I completed all the laps. And if you've seen this happen before, guys get spun when they slow down. That's exactly what happened with Marcus. He spun me when I slowed down, and they tell me I'm going to go back to 17th. It's not the way it is. It's happened many times. They set precedents before, and we'll appeal it. We won this race.
Robbie Gordon was suspended for his actions in Montreal after this race. Robbie Gordon was suspended from the Cup Series following his actions at Montreal. Robbie Gordon never really said he was sorry for his actions, but did apologize to Marcus Ambrose. Robbie Gordon has had a rough history with NASCAR, and this just really proves it. This is also one of the biggest suspensions in NASCAR history. Kyle Busch being suspended for crashing somebody intentionally in a truck race. It's pretty bad when you can get suspended for wrecking somebody, not even in the biggest series in NASCAR. Ron Hornaday was fighting for a championship, and Kyle Busch was just racing for fun. He let his emotions get the best of him, and it ended up horrible for Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch, then he shoots up the racetrack, almost gets into the 31, and here comes Hornaday for second, trying to take that spot away.
How about that young driver, Ron Hornaday, trying to get by Kyle Busch here? Ooh, close.
Wide into turn 4. That moves Kyle Busch all the way up the racetrack. He has to catch it before he gets to the wall, and Hornaday catches the wall.
Well, it's certainly been big here this morning. Standing right in front of the NASCAR hauler just moments ago, probably 100 members of the NASCAR media around here. And what they saw was Joe Gibbs Racing, the owner, Joe Gibbs himself, up inside the NASCAR hauler. He was followed by J.D. Gibbs. JD up in the NASCAR hauler for a meeting about what happened last night. He was followed by Kyle Busch, also up in the hauler. The bottom line, what will come out of this? NASCAR has come out and said that they will have a press conference at 8:45 concerning the incident last night and possible penalties being weighed against Kyle Busch.
And following the event and after a good deal of conversation and discussion, NASCAR has decided to maintain that parked position on the driver of the 18 truck for the balance of the weekend. So basically what that means is Kyle Busch will not be participating today or tomorrow in the NASCAR event here in Texas.
During a truck series race at Martinsville, Kevin Harvick intentionally crashed one of his competitors and was black flagged and not able to continue during that race. After a brief discussion post-race, NASCAR came to the conclusion that Kevin Harvick will be suspended and not allowed to race in the NASCAR Cup Series race the following day.
Again, Terry Cook is able to beat Robert Presley with the lap truck down into turn number 1. Matt Crafton has to race with him to get by. Oh, Corey Gibbs around he goes.
Round he goes, spinning around, and caution will come out again, and that'll be the 11th caution flag.
There's Kevin Harvick in the 6th truck. We saw Corey Gibbs get in the back of Kevin Harvick earlier. I'd say that was probably returning the favor short track style right there, Doc.
They don't do that, do they? I mean, if somebody gets hit, you don't pay them back, do you?
No, it's probably all accidental.
It's probably an incidental contact.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's racing.
Absolutely.
It's a racing incident. Let's see what happened here. Watch the 6 and the 20.
Little bit of contact there. A little bit of contact, and around Corey goes.
Yep, might have had some contact there. And Ray.
Well, Jerry, Kevin Harvick's on his way to the garage. He's done for the day, not because he's tired of racing, but because NASCAR said you're not going to race anymore. And here's the reason. Not because he spun Corey Gibbs, but because he said on the radio before it happened, I'm going to go get him. So it was definitely intentional. NASCAR heard it on the radio, and they've said, Kevin, you're done for the day.
And so the lesson there is don't ever tell anybody what you're going to do, I guess.
That's exactly right.
I mean, obviously you shouldn't do that,
Yeah.
but...
even if it goes from week to week, you're not supposed to tell what you're going to do. But now, isn't Kevin on probation from that altercation he had with Greg Biffle at Bristol?
That's a different series, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's NASCAR probation.